Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive right into the top stories making headlines today. The Democrat controlled New York City Council is suing Mayor Eric Adams over his decision to allow ICE to conduct immigration investigations at Rikers Island prison. The lawsuit filed in the Supreme Court of New York alleges Adams engaged in an unlawful deal with the Trump administration, trading federal corruption charges against him for cooperation on immigration enforcement. Even though they got no proof of this, right? The critics argue that his executive order undermines the city's sanctuary laws, prioritizing political interests over immigration over immigrant protection. The directive permits federal agents to share intelligence on violent gang activity, but does not authorize deportations based solely on immigration status. You would think they will want to get rid of the violent criminals. You would think they would want that, even though the American people want this, but they obviously Democratic controlled city council don't want. But the lawsuit is being led by City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, who is running against the mayor in the next election. This is all politics. She could care less about her own constituents. But the mayor's office have dismissed the claims as baseless, asserting the federal involvement enhances security without violating local laws. It is baseless. We got absolutely no proof that this is what um they used the charges to that Trump used the charges to try to kind of like blackmail Eric Adams. They got no proof of this. The Internal Revenue Service is preparing to reduce its workforce by up to 40%, potentially decreasing its staff from approximately 100,000 to between 60,000 and 70,000 employees. This downsizing initiative includes a combination of layoffs, attrition, and incentivized buyouts, such as the Deferred Resignation Program, which has already seen over 22,000 employees accept offers. The Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, is spearheading this effort to streamline federal agencies. Critics, including former IRS Commissioner John Corkinson, warned that such significant reductions could render the agency dysfunctional, impairing tax collection and taxpayer services. To that, I say good. We don't need all those employees. Additionally, there are concerns that these cuts may exacerbate challenges in addressing the national debt and maintaining efficient government operations. President Trump signed an executive order today to prevent illegal immigrants and fraudsters from assessing Social Security benefits. The directive expands fraud protection programs across multiple U.S. attorney offices and require investigations into mismatched Social Security records to combat identity theft. The Social Security Administration will also consider reinstating civil monetary penalties for individuals found guilty of fraud. Additionally, the administration has revoked Social Security benefits from over 6,300 illegal immigrants flagged as national security risks. New identification technology has been introduced to detect suspicious activity in claims and banking changes, aiming to reduce direct deposit fraud. Federal agencies, including Homeland Security and the IRS, are collaborating to track financial transactions linked to illegal immigration. California is grappling with a $6.2 billion shortfall in its Medicaid program, Medi-Cal, primarily due to expansion of healthcare coverage to all low-income adults, including the legal immigrants. Governor Gavin Newsom has responded by signing a $2.8 billion funding measure to help bridge the gap. So they just keep throwing money at the problem. They expect that to fix everything. But following a previous $3.4 billion loan from the state's general fund, the expansion has led to higher than anticipated enrollment and increased costs, with projections indicating that covering undocumented immigrants will cost $8.4 billion in the 2024-2025 fiscal year. While Newsom and Democrat leaders remain committed to maintaining the expanded coverage, Republican lawmakers have criticized the spending, arguing that it prioritizes non-citizens over legal residents and could jeopardize the program's sustainability. The situation is further complicated by potential federal Medicaid cuts, which would exacerbate the state's budget challenges and impact healthcare services for millions of Californians. Recently declassified documents from the Crossfire Hurricane investigation have raised concerns about the potential use of illegal aliens as confidential human sources. One file specifically questioned whether the CHS was an undocumented immigrant, though the answer was marked no. However, sources familiar with FBI operations suggest that using illegal aliens as informants is not entirely off limits. Past reports indicate that federal agents have pressured individuals, particularly Muslims, to become informants by offering citizenship or threatening deportation. The FBI, DEA, and ATF have collectively spent hundreds of millions of dollars on informants in recent years. Despite inquiries, the FBI has declined to comment on whether it has a formal CHS program for undocumented immigrants. I'm sure they do. The Pentagon's Defense Digital Service, or DDS, known for introducing Silicon Valley style innovation into military operations, is undergoing a significant overhaul. Under the direction of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, nearly all DDS staff members are resigning, leading to the program's effective shutdown by the end of April. Established in 2015, DDS played a pivotal role in developing rapid response technologies for national security crises, including tools for the Afghan withdrawal, when we all know how that went, and aid coordination for Ukraine. We all know how that went. And continues to go. That's a black pit, a black money pit. We just throw our money in there and it disappears. We don't know where it's going. The responsibilities of DDS will be transferred to the Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office as part of a broader initiative to streamline defense operations and reduce inefficiencies. This move aligned with the current administration's efforts to cut waste and enhance accountability within the Department of Defense. Lastly, CNN's latest documentary on political extremism has sparked controversy for its apparent bias. The program, hosted by Donnie O'Sullivan, claims that most political violence in the U.S. stems from right-wing extremism. It's ridiculous, citing events like January 6th in Charlottesville. However, critics argue that the documentary ignores left-wing violence, such as the congressional baseball shooting and the riots of 2020. How convenient they left that out. O'Sullivan's interview with journalist Taylor Lorenz, who's a crazed leftist, further fueled criticism as she appeared to downplay the actions of a convicted murderer. She basically said it's okay for left-leaning people to commit violence, like that Luigi dude that killed that killed the head of that pharmaceutical company. They're okay with that. That's not violence. It's crazy. And then they totally ignore what's going on with the Teslas and the burning up, scratching Teslas and burning down, firebombing Tesla facilities. They totally ignore all of that stuff. The documentary's approach has led to accusations that CNN is using political extremism as a partisan weapon rather than addressing it as a bipartisan issue. Many believe this framing undermines efforts to find real solutions to political violence. And that's all for today's news wrap up. Stay tuned for more updates and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time.